Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are in the country, and welcome to our third session of CASA's annual conference. My name is Peter Sikanda. I am the current chair at CASA and a policy advisor at the Ontario Federation of Agriculture. And I'm very happy to be the moderator for this amazing session today. We are lucky to have two presenters in this time slot. They will present for 20 minutes each, followed by roughly 5 minutes of questions. Huge thank you to our conference sponsor, John Deere Canada. It's thanks to them that we're able to offer free registrations for our conference this week. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. As you'll see, your microphones and cameras are disabled, and because we are in webinar format. If you have any questions throughout today's session, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. CASA staff will monitor these questions and share them during the Q&A sessions. Closed captioning is available for the conference in 20 different languages. This is located by clicking the closed caption button in the control bar at the bottom of the screen. Click it to turn on captions and select the language if prompted. The presentations will be recorded and shared to all registered participants following the conference. If you do need to have any conference presentations translated, please contact Megan Truxell. I would now like to introduce today's first speaker, who will be presenting on Exploring AgSafe Alberta's Farmers Care Program. Jody Wacowich is the Executive Director at AgSafe Alberta. Jody was raised on a cow-calf operation near Edmonton and completed her ag business degree at the University of Alberta. She went on to work with Olds College doing extension training in China and returned to work with Alberta Pork as an information and communications specialist. Eventually, she moved to the Drumheller area and worked in project management for companies including Olds College and the Calgary Stampede while completing her MBA in agriculture. She was also the safety director for her father's water hauling business in Edmonton. She also worked with AFSC in their insurance division in the Three Hills area. In her free time, surprising you have any free time, she is a mom of 3 active girls and has been a 4-H leader, coach, and cheerleader. She likes being active and has competed in triathlons and road races. She is a competitive development archery coach and coaches the Ignite Archery High Performance Program. This summer, she was the coach for Canada's archery team at the FISU Games in Calgary. She's also earned her second-degree black belt in karate. Jody wants to see all farm fatalities and injuries Alberta reduced and keep everyone on the farm safe, ensuring that farms are sustainable from one generation to the next. She works to ensure AgSafe Alberta provides the practical tools producers need to grow a robust farm safety culture. Wow, Jody, we're really looking forward to this presentation. So please take it away.
Thank you. Okay, so they asked me to talk a bit about our Farmers Care program, and I was excited to come share that with everybody today. It's been kind of an interesting journey that we've been on with this Farmers Care program, and looking forward to kind of sharing what we've learned, where we ran into kind of speed bumps and had to do some resets, and where we are now, and potentially going forward, how we keep it going and keep the interest levels. So just a moment here to look at the logo here, the Farmers Care acronym. I give credit to Sherry, one of our advising team. She sat down one night and said, okay, what things do we find from the care report that are really injuring farmers? And came up with all these letters and unscrambled them into the term farmers care. So kind of a cool opportunity to make it interesting, to come up with this engaging logo to talk about these topics. And so we got into the design work and did all of that and built some programming around it. So just so everybody can see, we talk about falls, air quality, rollovers, motor vehicles, energy isolation, remote work, secure loads, chemical exposures, animal handling, restricted and confined spaces, and then electrocution. So that's the Farmers Care acronym. And today I just wanted to talk a bit about the program, how we got started, talk a little bit about the levels, the program design and what it took to get it implemented and up and running, and then looking at sort of the impact that we're having and where we want to go from here. So what we were running into back in, I guess, prior to 2020, really challenging farmers to do safety, but the comments that we got back were really that it was too hard, it was overwhelming, it was where do we even start? The full safety program looked immense and they just really were struggling. And I often to refer to it as it sometimes feels like the straw that's breaking the camel's back. We know farmers have to do food safety. We know they have to do environmental plans. We know they have to do, all these bits and pieces that are required of them in other areas. And we just added another layer, and it seems really overwhelming to add just that much more paperwork. And how do we even start? So that was one of the things that we'd really identified in our programming, is that people were feeling overwhelmed. The other thing is that here in Alberta, the legislation applied to farms with employees. Not that family farms were 100% off the hook. There are some things that do apply to them as well, but in general, they felt family farms don't have to do health and safety. And when I look at my numbers, we've got about 40,000 farms here. We're looking at about 4,000 who take WCB coverage or some private insurance coverage. So we wanted to make sure that we were covering off, everyone and providing them with some tools to do things better, because the statistics tell us that here in Alberta, our fatalities, we're looking at 80% of them being happening to family farms, owner operators, those sorts of things, and that most of them are men over the age of 55. So things like that we need to pay attention to in trying to encourage safety, to adopt that safety culture, that sort of thing. So the board got really excited about our Farmers Care acronym and said, this is a great tool. Can we make it into a program where we can learn more about safety at a simpler level, something that was easy to apply? And so that's kind of what got us started on this journey, was saying, okay, let's see what we can do. So we wanted it to be applicable. We wanted it to kind of introduce safety and to encourage everybody on the farm who could take it to participate in it. So we have 4 levels with the Farmers Care program, and I just wanted to show you, this is one of our current advertising campaigns to promote the program. What does your farm look like without you? And then the other image there is actually a sign for those who complete the 4 levels. They can get a farm sign to share that they're very proud of what they're doing. So the 4 levels, we talk about hazard identification in the first one. So really knowing what those hazards are, or seeing them on your farm, and how simple the some of them can be to potential of an injury. And so saying, hey, these are some things I can do, and keep going that way. In terms of communication on level 2, we know that safety is really important. Part of that is communicating to everybody, so everybody knows what they need to do or where they need to be or those sorts of things. And particularly even on family farms, communication can sometimes be a challenge. So really starting to think about how we make that work better. And then level 3, we started looking at inspection. So can we start to document a little bit or think a little bit more formally about walking around the farm and identifying some things and really improving that safety culture? And level 4, we did emergency planning. And so we know that not often do we stop and think about that in advance of an emergency. What can we do? Who's doing what? Where? Who do we contact? What, who's responsible for what? Where do we want everybody to go? Those sorts of things. So just getting them to think a little bit more preemptively and having some of those plans. So, and that's the 4 levels. So then we had to think about how we wanted to, design this program, how we wanted to implement it, and how that works even within our staff and our abilities to develop some of these things. So What that ended up looking like in level one, we launched it in 2021. And with that level initially, what we did was a booklet, and we really had them trying to fill out things and identify some of those hazards and document how they might change them. And what we found was people really didn't want to do that much work. And so we took a look at that after, watching it for a few months and getting some of the feedback that comes in our surveys at the end of each of these levels, and said, okay, we need to make something a little bit more efficient and a little better. So you see the ad here where we did the reboot, and we made level one faster, easier, more interactive. So not so much homework for them, but just walking them through some of these things to think about. And so we relaunched level one with level two in 2022, and had much better uptake when we relaunched that and made it a little bit more simple and practical for them. In 2023, we launched level three, and then last fall in 2024, we launched level four. So what we're finding is quite often once we get them through level one, that they will quite quickly go through level two and three and four as well. It's just really pushing the promotion to get them started in terms of signing up for level one and completing it. The other thing that we're now looking at, now that we've got all four levels done, is to really look at how do we get them coming back to our platform to continue learning in some of our other courses, or to, just refresh their thinking on some of these pieces in the four levels, and how do we kind of keep them going on that safety journey. So that's one of the projects that we've got ongoing now. One of the things that we, excuse me, did with the online learning platform, in order to complete a level, we got them to complete a survey. And so they have to do that before they get their certificate, which helps us get that feedback as to what they liked or didn't like, or kind of lets us know if there's glitches or things happening that we're not aware of because we're not in that course. And so that really helps us along. What we did find at first was that some of them were not going through and finishing that survey. So we really had to put some information around complete the survey to finish the course. The other thing that we really wanted to do was get them to take it in order. So level one is free when you go on our platform, but levels two, three, and four show at $99. And that was just to walk through level one. At the end of level one, we give you a code that takes away the cost of the $99 to do the next levels, just to kind of keep them walking through in that order. We did have a few people who have gone through and whether they didn't apply the code right or something, but they have paid, and I will go in and refund them when they're working through those modules. So that's just how we kind of strategically manage that. And program engagement. There is a bit of a chat room area. There's an ability for them to message us and ask questions too. So just trying to keep them involved and discussing safety as a culture building kind of activity. So I've already kind of talked about our online delivery. We went with a platform called LearnWorlds. We really like using it. They keep upgrading tools. They're very responsive when we have questions, and even adding tools or adding things that help us deliver this course or monitor this course or do those sorts of things. So that's been really good. We also knew that to try and cover a whole province that we needed to do online because we couldn't get out and deliver impetus to doing this one. Resource allocation, it took some time to get them built, but they kind of manage themselves a little bit now on the platform, where we can just pop in and check the survey results every couple of weeks to see how things are going and if there's anything that we need to manage. And of course, the participants have the opportunity to message us if they run into issues too. And in terms of, yeah, like I said, monitoring, we're getting reports once a week to let us know how things are going as well. And community engagement, there's a little bit of chat that happens, and we're hoping to build that part more in attending some of the workshops that LearnWorlds does provide. That's really an important part of building an online platform. So that's something that we're going to set some goals around and try to move forward with. So going how we're managing metrics and watching things, of course, the number of people who are signing up to the platform and to the course, but also making sure that they're completing the course. And so that's really important to us. They do get some reminders if they don't, kind of on a monthly basis to pop in and say, hey, finish this. And then the follow through to the next level has been really important to us to see that, once you get in, you keep going. And so we get some of these dashboard numbers that we can see and in terms of people starting, completing, and that sort of thing. In terms of the long-term growth of farmers care, excuse me, we're going to be out at events again all through the fall and winter promoting this program. I just showed you one of our ads that's been built for the fall winter kind of season as we do some of this stuff, and just trying to continue to get people signed up on the platform and doing stuff with safety. So reminder activities, like I said, there's some reminders for those ones who do start and then carry on. And then kind of on the sustainability side of this program and keeping it moving forward, reviewing the stuff every 3 years just to make sure that everything's current, everything's working, that sort of thing. We're also working with some of the colleges and universities in terms of including some of this stuff in some of their programming. And Olds College has actually really taken this. They have an introduction to ag course, and so they are actually making all of those people, as they complete the course, have to do all 4 farmers levels and submit their certificates to the instructor, so saying that they have done some of that. So that's kind of an interesting piece and an opportunity to keep it going. And then, as with any nonprofit, looking for sustainable funding to make sure that we can keep this running and going forward. That sort of thing. So longer term, trying to re-engage people back in the platform. We're currently working on a bit of an activity that brings them back, just to kind of, hey, test your knowledge, see if you remember this, or this, kind of about how the levels went, how you remember what you did or what you need to do on the farm, that sort of thing. So we're playing around with some fun things and really kind of excited about where that could go. So that's kind of how we want to do some re-engagement, get them back to the platform and continue with that. And I think that brings us right to questions in terms of what we've been up to.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jody. That was great. I'm curious if anyone has any questions, please feel free to add them to the Q&A. So far, we don't have any. You've done such a great job covering it. I am curious from my own side of things. I know rural internet is obviously a challenge everywhere in Canada. But do you have any sort of do you have like a healthy balance between the stuff that's online versus sort of on paper, like that kind of thing, or are you trying to deliver a lot through internet resources?
We're trying to deliver a lot through internet resources just because we have a limited ability and limited people to do too much out and about. What's been more of a challenge for us, like not hearing so many complaints about being able to access it internet-wise, it's the Hutterite colonies who don't have access to the technology.
Right. Yes.
Those are the ones where we find a little more challenge as to how do we get them on board with safety, and are they doing a full safety program or something like this, and how do we kind of manage that? So we have taken some opportunities where we download some of the modules and try to get them to do them at the local library sometimes is an option, or if one of our advisors has time to go out and kind of walk through some of the stuff with them. But yeah, we haven't heard a whole lot on the accessibility part of it. It's more some of the other things that we are challenged by.
I see. Okay. We have another question that's come in. When you were putting together your courses, how did you decide what grade level for the content? That seems similar to, maybe you can answer the one from Robin as well, asking about younger versus older, men versus women, sort of in the same thing, sort of grade level, education level, gender, that sort of thing, age.
So, knowing that our colony members only go to school till grade 9, um, that became a kind of a minimum for us, but we did actually try to go a little bit lower than that just to make it applicable. What has been interesting is that we have had schools pick up on our program. Some of them are doing the agriculture component in their high school programming, so we've got high school students who have been taking it. And I know that a couple of colonies actually started working through the Farmers Care program with their kids. They felt that that really kind of connected with them,
Mm,
and we've had a 4-H program who's taken their peewees who are 7 or 8 and walked them through it in their way too. So
excellent. Um, have you had much like feedback on the course yet from those who've taken it?
yeah, we like I said, we collect the survey. They're required to complete that in order to get their certificate for each level.
Okay,
So
okay.
um, lots of people saying it's very easy, it's practical. I know one of the questions we get when we talk to employers is like, how long is it going to take? And most of the modules are about 20 minutes if you're kind of going through them pretty quick, 30 minutes if you're taking a little bit more time, but seems to be very handy for employers to use as kind of an introduction as well.
Yeah, I know from my work at the UFA as well that I've seen how overwhelming this can get very quickly, especially from the legislative standpoint, yeah, the legislation doesn't make things easy, but do you get into like how deep do you get into those sort of what the legislation says about health and safety versus what there's sort of that practical side of things? Because yeah,
We've left more of the legislation to our farmers care or farm safe plan program because
okay.
we have modules that apply to that manual, and looking more at developing some of those tools. This was more of a practical approach to, I mean, where legislation applies, it's noted.
Okay, yeah,
But yeah, just trying to, it's almost like picking the low-hanging fruit. Can we eliminate some of these fairly quickly and make it better on the farm? So.
awesome. Trevor's asking, in Alberta, is there a demand for farm resources in other language like Spanish or Punjabi? If there is, are your programs available in other languages?
Right now, they're only available in English. We have been talking about getting some of them changed over to Spanish. Ukrainian is actually another one that we've been
Oh,
asked quite a bit about. So those are things that we're looking at, and in my next funding application are certainly a part of it.
excellent. Robin's asking if there were any surprises on course content that really resonated with the students. The students.
Um, Not so much with farmers care.
Okay.
I think we're seeing some interesting comments coming through some of our other courses that we've just launched, but Farmers Care has been, yeah, this made sense. It was practical. Like I said, the students have, you know, we have the comment we get is we had to take it, but we actually liked it.
That's great. That's maybe some of the best feedback you can get
Yeah.
sometimes. Excellent. And Mark just wanted to give you some kudos. Good job on the program name. Coming up with an acronym and imagery is not easy, and they look great. So on that, I will move on to our next session. Thanks again, Jody. That's great. Thank you very much. I'd like to next to introduce Lucia Stephen from the Do More Agriculture Foundation, presenting on Community at Your Fingertips, AgTalk for Farmers' Mental Health. Lucia is a strategist and advocate with over 15 years of experience advocating agricultural transitions and farmer advocacy. As operations and outreach manager with the Do More Ag Foundation, she is committed to fostering open conversations about mental health in agriculture and rural communities, working to reduce stigma and strengthen resilience. Through her work, she helps cultivate a culture of mental well-being with Canadian farming communities. Thank you very much. Looking forward to your presentation.
Great, thank you so much. I'm just bringing up our slides here. So first of all, I just wanted to express on behalf of the Do More Agriculture Foundation my thanks to CASA for inviting us to speak today. It is a real pleasure to be here with you all. My name is Lucia Stephen, and I am the Operations and Outreach Manager with the Do More Agriculture Foundation. As a brief disclaimer, I'm not a mental health professional. My background is in agriculture, where I have had the privilege of working in farming communities and supporting farmers in a variety of contexts for over 15 years. And the information I'll share today is just for general guidance only and isn't a substitute for professional medical advice. We all know that farming can be deeply rewarding, and it also can come with unique pressures, unpredictable weather, financial uncertainty, long hours, isolation, and the weight of sustaining multi-generational farms or starting out as a first-generation farmer, can all present various variables to manage. And on top of this, stigma can still make it hard to reach out for help when you need it. So that's why the Do More Agriculture Foundation exists, to ensure that nobody in agriculture has to face mental health challenges alone. And today I'll focus on one of our key initiatives, AgTalk, an online anonymous peer-to-peer platform hosted by Togetherall, designed to provide a free supportive space for people working in agriculture to connect. So to continue. Just to provide a little bit, some of you may be familiar with our work already, but the Do More Agriculture Foundation is the national voice and champion for mental health in agriculture. It was founded by Farmers for Farmers in 2017 and became a registered charity in 2019. And our mission is simple yet vital. We work to cultivate a culture of mental well-being in Canadian farming and rural community. And we do this through both individual and collective action. Talk, Ask, Listen, as you can see in the corner, is one of our flagship workshops. We're actually having that a free session of that delivered tomorrow. We work around this mission in three sort of primary ways. Fostering action for awareness, sparking open, honest dialogue about mental health and agriculture, community for connection, so fostering relationships, network development, and reducing isolation for those working in agricultural communities, and resources for support, so ensuring people know where and how to access help when they need it. And so just to provide a bit of context around this, when we talk about sustainable agriculture, when we talk about agriculture, mental health is foundational. It underpins the long-term health of our farms, our families, and rural communities. And yet at the same time, many barriers still exist. For example, according to the 2021 National Survey on Farmer Mental Health, nearly 40% of producers said that they felt uneasy seeking professional help because of what others may think. It's worth noting that this is double the national average, and is a powerful reminder that stigma still runs deep in farming community, often preventing people from reaching out when they need support. Access, as we know, is another issue. In rural and remote areas, mental health services are often scarce and limited. There may be long wait times, few professionals, or privacy concerns. Adding in a busy workload, travel and weather, and accessing care becomes that much more challenging. And then in addition to that, just as a point of reflection, stress is common and widespread in general. The Canadian Mental Health Association reports that 1 in 5 Canadians will face a mental health crisis in their lifetime. In agriculture, that risk is compounded by the stresses that are unique to the occupation, including the financial uncertainty, isolation, and climate-related pressures. These realities highlight why supports designed for and by agricultural community are so essential, because understanding the context truly matters when it comes to delivering care and fostering connection. And so this is what brings me to talk a little bit more about AgTalk. These challenges that I just mentioned are why the Do More Agriculture Foundation partnered with Togetherall to launch AgTalk in 2023, supported by BASF Agricultural Solutions Canada, RBC Foundation, and the McCain Foundation. Togetherall is a global online mental health community providing 24/7 clinically moderated peer-to-peer support for millions of people worldwide. And within Togetherall, AgTalk has been created kind of as a designated space. We kind of call it like Farmer Coffee Row, where people in agriculture can connect with others who understand the realities of farm life. And it is open to anyone working in agriculture. It's free, anonymous, and available at any time. You can log on, in the middle of the day, downtime, in the middle of the night. There's always a path to connecting through that space. And members share experiences, ask questions, and can simply just read posts and resources or complete like self-assessment questionnaires, just in, again, trying to ensure that nobody ever feels alone. And really the heart of what AgTalk is about is peer-supported community, reducing isolation, creating understanding, and helping people feel seen and heard. And just to expand on that a little bit, community is everything. We know this, and peer support works because it can meet people where they are, not with judgment or diagnosis, but with empathy and understanding. And in agriculture, as many people say, you don't really get it unless you've lived it or have had that, real on-farm experience. And that's what makes AgTalk powerful. It's connecting people that do have that and can support one another. And so when somebody's posting about what they're going through and others respond, it creates a sense of validation. It can build connection and hope. And research shows that peer support can reduce isolation, encouraging earlier help seeking, ahead of crisis, and builds resilience, often helping people take that extra step before next step towards professional or community-based supports when needed. It doesn't replace professional care. It complements it by offering that kind of essential first connection to others working in agriculture and fostering an ongoing sense of belonging. And just to give you a bit of a glimpse into what it looks like in practice, like these are real anonymized excerpts from the community, farmers sharing what's heavy, offering encouragement, reminding each other that support is available and connection makes a difference. And that kind of, shared experience can really become a source of strength and, again, help to reduce any sense of isolation. With over 10,000 interactions on AgTalk since its launch, it's become a key mental health resource for people in agriculture. These numbers do remind us of why this work matters so deeply. As you can see, for many people, AgTalk is the only space where they talk about what they're going through. It's not just a forum, but it's a bridge to support. 1 in 3 AgTalk users has considered suicide, and over 10 have made an attempt, reminding us how essential it is that support exists before a crisis hits. And as participation grows, so does that collective strength to help break stigma and make discussions about mental health easier and more comfortable for people. AgTalk users come from every province across Canada and span all ages, genders, and backgrounds. The top 5 issues that people have discussed most, as we've heard, are stress, depression, anxiety, loneliness, and relationships, showing that farmers are whole people and not just producers, that their mental health affects every part of their lives. And there is no doubt that by having this kind of peer-supported community, it's helping to address mental health needs and make a difference in people's lives. And so I guess just to continue, that's why we want to, encourage those on the call today and who might be listening later to get connected. I put the QR code here for people to just link directly to the platform and to the registrations page, where, and again, it's not just specific to farmers. Other people that are working in agriculture can connect as well, to, become and to know and to support this space as a brancher for support and assistance. You can tell your peers, list this, having the little expert and the link in any space that you feel it could benefit people to be more aware. We encourage, everybody to spread the word, just because the more people that engage, the better. And it can really, again, just help to know for people that may not necessarily have a way to get off the farm easily, but want to be able to have some discussion about things that are on their mind. This is a great space to do so. And that can provide that sort of first step towards connection and care. So I might have breezed through this a little bit quickly, but I do want to just mention again that we really appreciate this opportunity. The Do More Agriculture Foundation at domore.ag has a number of different other resources that you are welcome to visit on our website and connect through our mailing list on our website as well and through our social channels. We do provide updates and promotions related to AgTalk specifically, but we do have a number of other activities that cater to the same needs. And so we encourage your engagement. And certainly I've put my email here as well in case there are any questions at a later date, but also happy to answer some now. And I just wanted to, express our gratitude once more for creating some opportunity to speak about this because, it's important that we all work to keep Canadian agriculture strong and thriving, both in the economic sense, but also in the emotional sense. And so we appreciate, having an opportunity to share more about this work and provide more ways to connect one another. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that really interesting presentation. It is such a it's such an amazing area to be working in. It feels like every day you can get some great wins, like it's been neglected for so long. I know at the OFA I've been working on it as well since 2015 time, and yeah, it's great to see how far it's advanced in the agriculture community in such a relatively short period of time. So, and it's thanks to organizations like yours that we are where we are. I guess I haven't seen any questions pop in just yet. Oh, okay. First one from Robin. What does the administration of the platform look like?
The administration is hosted through Togetherall. So they are the host, and we provide consult and feedback sort of on how to improve in the user experience. And so we're actually working with them closely, regularly on finding new ways to kind of, streamline and make it just as easy as possible for people to sign on without any sort of super extensive, long, questionnaires, finding ways to keep it short and sweet. And basically they just fill out a form online and then they gain access to the platform and then can explore the number of resources that are available. But we are, it can be, we're doing a lot right now to kind of just make sure there's, clear guidance to look for what, where, just because it is a very vast platform. And really, as I said, AgTalk is its little coffee corner for farmers in a broader space that's supporting mental health in general. So we just want to ensure that, the resources that are specific to agriculture are combined in one area. So we're kind of feeding in a lot more now, and we're going to have more blog posts added and those kinds of things to support the user journey. But if there's anything more specifically about the admin side, by all means, let me know. It is largely our partner is the one that manages that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's I think that's pretty huge, having that simple application process and
we don't want it. We want people to, I think the longer you make, the more onerous you make those processes, the less likely someone may be to continue. We want to just try and make it so that it's not that you need to sit and complete a 20-minute, or 30-minute kind of interview before you can gain access. We want people to get help as immediately as they can and become connected.
Right. Awesome. And just as a follow-up, are there moderators that are somewhat in charge or keeping track of things, making sure it's appropriate?
Yes, absolutely. So the Togetherall has 24/7 clinically. The wall guides that exist in this platform are licensed and registered mental health professionals who keep our members, the idea is to just sort of monitor and make sure that they're available to respond in context of crisis and provide them with support as needed to guide them towards local assistance. And, we are doing more work now to find ways to recognizing, we know that, the more that therapists and mental health practitioners are ag informed, like agriculturally informed, the more appropriate and supportive their care can be for somebody with that lived experience. So we have a particular course called Ag Culture through the Doomer Agriculture Foundation that is directed for mental health professionals to get ag-informed training. And we've also provided that to the wall guides at Togetherall, and many of them are signing on for that too, just to get that extra level of, guide, like awareness around, sector-specific care.
We have another question that's come in. Are the peer supporters trained? If yes, how?
The wall guides are trained in terms of, those are the main sort of monitors for the space. And then there's also peer supporting training through Togetherall as well. I do believe that there are a number of people within the platform that do have it, but general participants don't have that kind of,
Right.
like when you're signing on, they wouldn't have that necessarily, that training, unless they pursued it individually. But that is also, I think, there's a pathway. I would have to look into it a little bit further, but I do know that Togetherall offers peer support training as well.
Okay.
I can put if there's any more specific questions on that, I'll put I'm happy to provide a little bit more research and detail on that. I'll just put my email in the chat.
Awesome, thank you. Do you happen to know if any of the users have made connections off the platform, i.e. sort of being friends in real life, something like that?
I mean, we have had really positive feedback, but I don't know if, I think that I can't say yes for sure.
Right.
But I do feel that the positive sort of feedback we have heard from participants that have, definitely made connections and have felt less alone by proxy of participating, it's possible, but I don't know for sure. And I think that that's the ultimate goal, is to find ways to bring people even together, to use AgTalk as a stepping stone to real life connection, I would say is a hidden goal that I didn't underline, but is certainly one we would value. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I'm curious if there's like from a policy world, I'm interested in the research and sort of like what's next in the research area. Is there any sort of research insights that can come from this that maybe only come about because through the discussions or the interactions?
I am aware that there is that survey that I referenced earlier today. I believe that is the National Survey for Farmer Mental Health. Yeah. I'm not actively participating in it myself yet at this point or engaged in any respect, but my understanding, just anecdotally, is that is going to be a recurring point of accumulating research for the sector that is very specific to mental health. I also imagine that the Canadian Center for Rural and Agricultural Health may also have some insights on that as well. But certainly we are definitely connected to those that are leading that. I don't know if I do know that the interest right now is to do what we can to find more, continue to sort of build on these benchmarks and build more quantitative data that can bolster the anecdotal experiences that we're hearing more and more. Again, just because of the realities of the farming seasons becoming particularly very challenging in certain regions in particular. So we do want to keep an eye on that, and we'll be absolutely engaged and promoting any opportunities around that when we hear about them coming up, which I think there will be some news on that in 2026.
Excellent, thanks. Do you see any seasonality shifts in activity, harvest, winter, et cetera, or big events like droughts or other natural disasters, being a driver for increased use?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I would say that certainly, I think it's natural that certainly in the peak of the growing season, I would have to confirm with our Togetherall colleagues around crisis specific events. Like I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not sure of the most recent data on that. I do know that it's natural that you'll see a little bit less, like my understanding is that, the height of the growing season when people are busy enough just trying to make ends meet and get like the basics covered, it's not necessarily, it's natural that we may not see as much online engagement during that period, but I would have to report back on the specifics. It seems like there's pretty consistent, it's consistent, but certainly when, there's like a laundry list of other tasks that come up, it's less likely that, you may see as much traffic, but we are thankfully seeing increased traffic and, clearly more people connecting to the space. So that's encouraging.
That's great. Yeah. We do have a question asking about the financial sustainability of the initiative. How have you covered that off?
We have done this as I wanted to make sure, acknowledge the generous support of our partners, BASF, RBC Foundation, and the McCain Foundation. So we started in 2023. We were recently renewed for another 2-year period. And so we will continue to work with our partners to ensure that AgTalk is sustainable in the long term.
Excellent. Thank you. I don't have any other questions that have come in. I'll give it just then Trevor pops in, of course. That's great, Trevor, thanks. What areas of Canada or the provinces have the greater participation with Do More Ag? Ideas for more outreach in the other areas?
Do you mean for Do More Ag or for AgTalk specifically?
He's just AgTalk.
Maybe it's for this platform in particular.
Yeah.
We do know that there, in some of we see a particularly large presence from Ontario, and through the prairies and West Coast area, we're seeing a sort of stronger. I would say that the 4 top areas, certainly Ontario is leading significantly, but we see consistent, there's participation in every region. In every province. But I would say that opportunities to increase engagement through the East and through the northern communities that we are working with is just to continue. We're a small and mighty team at the Do More Agriculture Foundation. It's 3.5 of us with a national mandate. So and I'm the one based in Eastern Canada. So really right now we're looking at, and if anyone on the call, certainly anybody on the call that is interested in engaging, please feel free to reach out. But I think that, more targeted support and outreach to on the ground organizations supporting farming communities in the East and Eastern regions, in the northern regions, to just, again, make sure that more people are aware of these kinds of resources that are free and available, will certainly help, I suspect, to bolster stronger engagement in these areas. But, again, it's and we're absolutely on our way. We have a number of we are building those relationships currently and are always keen to be connected to new groups. So again, please don't ever hesitate to reach out if this is something that appeals to you, or you think that there may be someone or some group that may be wanting to have this information on hand.
Okay.
And not just specifically to AgTalk, I should mention also, because again, I won't speak about it today at length, but there are a number of other resources that we can offer.
Okay. We do have one other question asking about that connection, specifically to the Mental Health Commission of Canada or other similar organizations, and if they are involved or is tangential. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a national community of practice where we coordinate a number of basically anyone that's working in this intersection of agriculture and mental health in Canada. We invite them to drop in on a monthly meeting. And again, if anyone is interested, feel free to reach out to me and send an email if that's something that, if you're interested in learning more or becoming involved. And that is including a number of representatives of chapters of the CMHA, both from Alberta to Ontario. We have different participants connected to these entities, and we're growing every month with new people involved. But thankfully, there's over 50 people engaged already in this group, and we're making, as I said, just new contacts regularly through events like this and through in-person meetings, and through that kind of effort, we really want to ensure that we're working collaboratively and that we're not working in silos. We believe fully that we're all stronger together to be championing I can't say this word today, supporting advancing discussions and support for mental health and agriculture across the country. And certainly there's more and more stakeholders involved in this way, so the more the merrier.
Well, we do have a suggestion in the chat to connect with Patients for Patient Safety Canada, and
Awesome.
similar to cross-pollinate and leverage Canadian Patient Safety Week campaign at the end of the month. So there's that suggestion as well. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I'll just give it a second if there's any last questions. Well, this might be a good place to wrap things up. Thank you very much to Jody and Lucia for those fantastic presentations. Jody, you need to turn your camera on for our goodbyes. Thank you for attending today's presentations. The conference will be back this afternoon at 1 p.m. Central for this afternoon session on Ag Injury News. You use the same link to get to that session, or you can leave it on and enjoy the great jams that are being provided. The Zoom link for today will be the same as the one for tomorrow. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks again for the presentations. Really great.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Jody, and thanks everybody for participating today. It's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.